A butt joint is a common beginner joinery technique. The problem is you need to reinforce it with screws or nails. So in this video, we're going to talk about countersinking. Welcome to the Warrior Woodshop. I'm Mr. Rodaway. Today on the show, we've got two of our hardworking front office secretaries, Robin Anderson and Ashley Schumacher. Thanks for attending again. A lot of times when you make a beginner joint, you need to reinforce it with screws. The problem is if you don't countersink the screws, they stick out and scratch the workbench, the dining room table, the countertop, whatever they're setting on. So in this video, we're going to show how to countersink or recess the screw just slightly below the surface. It doesn't hide it, but it prevents your work surface or table from getting scratched. Before you can countersink, the first thing you got to do is drill a pilot hole. And if you recall from part one of our video series, a pilot hole is a hole slightly smaller than the screw. So that way it can go in a little bit easier without splitting the wood. We'll start off on the bottom of this project with what's called countersinking. Did either one of you see a problem with the way this is setting right now?
Kind of sticking out a little bit.
Kind of sticking out. So let's go ahead and pull a couple of those screws out with the impact, would you? Push down even though you're taking it out. There you go. Let's just go ahead and take them all out because we're going to make sure they all work.
Definitely, it's so strange to push down when you're trying to get them out.
Yeah, the secret to removing a screw is actually put pressure downward, and that just seems like backwards thinking, but if you don't, the drill slips out of the top of the screw. Alright, so far we've used a couple different kinds of bits. We've used a traditional twist bit. They're called twists, but that's what you think of when, by the way they're shaped, they're twisty. We've used a fastener bit, and in the world of fasteners, there's stars, there's straights, there's Phillips, there's hex. It's like, so make sure you got the right bit. But we're going to add a third one to our list today. It's one called the countersink. Kind of reminds you of back in the days of when you're playing with the little top. What this has is a little blades around it that are going to create a funnel shape. These work with what they call bugle head screws. It looks like the end of a trumpet, basically. So it sits flat on top, but will recess below the surface. On the bottom of this little toe, we don't care if the screws show. We just want to make sure they're not scratching our workbench. So we're going to install this one. We're going to put it on the lower speed. And it's a real simple process. I'll show you how to do the first. You line it up with the center of your hole. Now, how far down do you think I should go?
That looks good.
That looks good. Basically, you can always add more, right? You can always go deeper. So the little trick is to turn the screw upside down.
Oh,
and
okay.
Because obviously you can drill all the way through. You don't want to do that. So in our case, it was maybe 1 second with a softer material. You want to try?
Sure.
We're going to end up doing them all. So. Okay, let's check it. The head's below the surface.
Perfect. Wow, this is fun. You don't really have to put a lot of pressure.
No. All we've done is basically recess the screws.
Oh, nice. That looks a lot better.
So now we can put it on the workbench, the dining room table.
Nice and even.
Nice and even. All right, this wraps up part 2 of our 3-part series on reinforcing butt joints with screws. In this one, we basically showed you how to recess it with the screw still visible. On the next video, or part 3, we're going to show you how to recess them a little bit further with a technique called counterboring, and then we can put a plug or a button on them to conceal them. So if you like this video, check out the other 2 that go in this series, but we're going to have a lot more on projects, tips, techniques, tools. So be sure to hit that like, subscribe, that bell thingy so you know when we post more videos. Thanks for watching. Go make some sawdust.